What experiences led your nephew to become one of the youngest qualified counsellors in Britain?
Life has always been a constant uphill battle for my nephew. Simon was born with an extremely rare type of incurable benign tumours in his right eye, nose and mouth. Then at the age of 21, he was diagnosed with a second incurable medical condition called ulcerative colitis, which is a serious life-threatening inflammatory bowel disease. His long-term illnesses give him permanent disabilities in his right eye, nose, mouth, face, colon, speech and skin. Every day is like a marathon because he suffers from chronic pain and fatigue, in addition to coping with multiple disabilities. But all the pain and suffering were not in vain, because 22 years ago, at the age of 21, he qualified as a counsellor and has helped thousands of people suffering from all kinds of distress in communities across Britain.
Why are the communities helped by your nephew inspired by his courage and perseverance in the face of adversity?
Despite debilitating medical conditions, crippling disabilities, and against impossible odds, Simon went on to become a well-respected, widely published and award-winning senior professional who graduated from 4 top universities in England. His distinguished career spanned 2 decades in the United Kingdom, civil service, 3 local authorities in London and the public sector. Over the past 21 years, he was elected to the Board of Governors at 5 schools and 20 major hospitals in London, although management at some of these hospitals refused to respect the election results due to his advocacy work across the NHS. In 2016, he successfully passed the rigorous Ministry of Justice assessment to be a Justice of the Peace for England and Wales, also known as a magistrate. And then, on 31st of March 2017, he took the judicial oath and was sworn into the judiciary of England and Wales as a judicial office holder. Over the past 2 decades, his outstanding work earned respect from senior judges, lawyers, police, community leaders, pillars of society and eminent politicians, evidenced by documentary evidence in over 100 Lever Arch files.
How did communities across Britain and around the world benefit from the 3 voluntary organisations founded and chaired by your nephew in the last decade?
A decade ago, Simon founded a small health charity called the Little Portion Community Project, which provided a wide range of support such as counselling and life coaching for people in distress. In 2013, a Supreme Court judge became its patron. Simon also founded a health support network called Healed by Compassion, which provided much needed information on where to get help for families in distress. In 2014, the Right Honourable Baroness Mary Warnock became the patron of Healed by Compassion Health Support Network. Simon's work as Residents Association chairman has spanned over 26 years. He was first elected at the age of 17 in 1995, the youngest in recent history. These 3 organisations, chaired by Simon, have helped thousands of people in need. Simon's important voluntary work is supported by friends, volunteers and acquaintances who are politicians, lawyers, doctors, nurses, paramedics, judges, politicians, police, Army, Navy, Air Force, civil servants, NHS staff and members of the public.
What is the key documentary evidence confirming Simon's community work is remarkable and has benefited the public?
Official letters from the Supreme Court, the Crown Prosecution Service, the House of Lords, a Deputy London Mayor's Office, and many senior public figures all confirmed communities across Britain value and respect Simon's contributions to society, and he is well respected. There are hundreds of photos of Simon and his colleagues invited places such as 10 Downing Street, the Supreme Court, the Houses of Parliament, London Mayor's Office, and the Royal Societies. Communities helped by Simon have provided many testimonies confirming his kindness, empathy, and tireless work to help people in need. In 2007, Simon's life story was published in quality broadsheet newspapers abroad and read by a quarter of the global population. The news articles contained professional photos of Simon working with prominent public figures and mentioned how he is determined to serve the public in multiple roles despite debilitating medical conditions. In the last 5 years, with support from the international communities in 195 countries, Simon became a magistrate, governor of 5 schools, and an expert in mental health at the International Criminal Court. He was shortlisted for positions at the Civil Justice Council and Family Procedure Rules Committee in the Royal Courts of Justice. He made it onto the long list of candidates for the position of Her Majesty's Chief Inspector for the Crown Prosecution Service.
How did Simon's extensive community work make him a target for harassment, and what was the outcome?
Due to Simon's advocacy work for communities without a voice, he often received unwanted attention from powerful people, which he silently tolerated. In 2016, a small group of senior managers in a psychiatric hospital, a local authority in special measures, a large housing association, commenced a lengthy smear campaign against my nephew. They repeatedly framed him as mad and bad by making what experts called malicious and bogus referrals to the NHS Mental Health Emergency Service and Local Authority Vulnerable Adults Panel. Even though Simon is a widely published and highly qualified mental health specialist, he's an expert witness in mental health and had always passed enhanced DBS checks. Whilst they did not fully succeed, their reckless actions caused immeasurable harm to all aspects of his life, including his self-esteem and human dignity. Over the last 5 years, Simon has exhausted all avenues, including complaints to regulators and lawsuits, experts, pro bono lawyers, and communities who helped Simon seek justice. All noted that none of these proper channels stopped the harassment or alleviated his suffering. At best they fluffed about, but most victimised him in various ways to teach him a lesson that the system is there to serve the establishment. To this day, the victim did not receive an apology, and all the major wrongs were not rectified.
What has been the personal impacts on Simon from these horrific incidents?
As a direct result of the smear campaign and harassment, Simon is suffering from ill health and extreme poverty. His career, health and reputation are all ruined. His disabilities are now much worse than before due to high levels of stress caused by the smear campaign and harassment spanning 5 years. He's facing real threats of homelessness, bankruptcy and starvation. Meanwhile, those individuals responsible for everything enjoyed complete immunity, and some were even promoted.
How are the communities across Britain helping Simon throughout these tragedies?
The communities in Britain Simon represented in his statutory, elected and voluntary roles spanning 2 decades, which is approximately half of the United Kingdom, sent many letters of appeal to the establishment, urging them to put a stop to the ongoing victimisation. Communities across Britain had elected Simon as governor of 20 major hospitals, which treated approximately 50% of the nation. One of the hospitals my nephew governed was the world-renowned St Thomas Hospital, which saved the life of the British Prime Minister in March 2020 when he was ill with coronavirus. In 2020, mainstream press and media extensively published how the British Prime Minister declared he owed his life to St Thomas Hospital, of which my nephew was the governor from 2018 to 2021. In 2021, the British Prime Minister and the First Lady got married in Westminster Cathedral, where my nephew is a registered parishioner. Communities in these and many other institutions are supporting my nephew in this truly horrific ordeal.
Since all the proper channels in Britain refuse to deliver even 1% of the justice needed, what did pro bono lawyers and the international communities advise?
Based on the advice and support from experts, pro bono lawyers and the international communities, Simon's representatives filed appeals at the United Nations under their special procedure rules. He also filed appeals at the international courts and the European appeal courts. Since the courts of the United Kingdom failed to deliver any justice, the international communities planned to help the victim file new lawsuits at courts abroad, and when Simon wins, which lawyers are certain he will, the outcome will be reinforced by international agencies such as Interpol.
What's the news from Hollywood in Los Angeles?
One of our relatives, Sophia, works in Hollywood at Los Angeles. She told some of the movie producers about the main thrusts of this story. The movie producers advised if funds can be raised to produce a documentary film about this extraordinary story. It will probably be in the category of Certificate 18 horror films due to its extremely shocking and highly disturbing content. It's unprecedented for a distinguished senior professional who'd been a magistrate, governor of 20 major hospitals, 5 schools and numerous voluntary organisations to be subjected to such extensive ill treatment and then endure extreme forms of victimisation by arms of the establishments that are supposed to right the wrong.
Can you summarise the evidence from over 100 bundles in your nephew's high-profile case?
If Simon hadn't suffered as he has, there'd be no depth, no humility, no compassion to him. The suffering led Simon to be filled with wisdom, kindness and compassion, which he generously shared with communities. The immeasurable pain and incalculable suffering failed to crush or paralyse Simon, but motivated him to serve the public, which made him a hero in people's hearts all over the world. The Catholic community in Westminster Cathedral, where the British Prime Minister got married in 2021, taught Simon that if he is humble, nothing will touch him, neither praise nor disgrace, because he knows what he is. The staff and patients at St Thomas's Hospital, where Simon was a governor from 2018 to 2021, and which saved the British Prime Minister's life in 2020, told us that whilst they don't know how Simon's story will end, the words, "we gave up," will definitely not appear in this story. Simon's story is about hope, joy and love.